I want to start today by describing this very specific, very annoying experience. It's Monday morning. You open LinkedIn.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Right. The first post you see screams, "You need to hire fast to capture market share." You scroll down like 2 inches.
And the next one says the exact opposite.
Exactly. The recession is coming. Fire fast and automate everything.
It's enough to give you whiplash before you've even had your first coffee.
It really is. And it's not just social media, It's the vibe in boardrooms right now. Markets feel weird.
Weird is a good word for it.
Budgets are definitely tighter than they were a couple of years ago. AI is looming over everything like this giant question mark. Half the people think it's magic. The other half think it's going to just destroy their business model.
And no one seems to know which lever to actually pull. It's sensory overload.
Yeah.
And when you have that much conflicting information, do more, do less, pivot to AI, it just creates this paralysis.
Or worse, it creates frantic activity. Which brings us to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a strategy piece from Stella Pop called How to Future-Proof and Grow Your Business in Uncertain Markets. And I'll be honest, when I first saw the title, I kind of rolled my eyes. Future-proof feels like one of those buzzwords consultants charge you like 10 grand to say. I get that skepticism. It's a very bold claim. But what I think makes this piece different is that it isn't telling you to hustle harder.
Right.
In fact, it argues that the hustle is actually what's killing you.
That's the hook that got me. The central argument here is that strong businesses don't necessarily grow faster in uncertain times. They grow in order.
Grow in order. It's such a simple phrase, but it's completely counterintuitive, isn't it?
Well, let me push back on that for a second. Because growing in order sounds nice. But if you're a CEO staring at a missed quarterly target, order feels slow. If revenue is down, don't we need speed? Don't we need to break things? That is the instinctive reaction, 100%. When the numbers dip, the reptilian brain just takes over. We think more leads, run more ads, hire a new VP of sales.
Buy that new software.
Exactly. But the source material argues this reactive speed is a trap. They call it tactics without traction.
Tactics without traction. So just spinning your wheels.
Precisely. Think about it. You see the numbers softening, so you panic buy a new CRM or you launch a TikTok channel just because a competitor did. You're doing things.
You're busy. You're sweating.
You are definitely sweating. But are you actually moving forward?
I think everyone listening can identify with that feeling. The marketing team is churning out content, the sales team is making calls, operations running around, but the needle isn't really moving.
It's like rowing a boat with one oar.
Yeah.
And that's the diagnosis Stella Pop makes. They say leaders aren't failing because they're lazy or, unintelligent.
Right.
They're failing because they treat growth as this, grab bag of isolated tactics. They're trying to hack their way out of what is actually a structural problem.
So if the problem is frenzied tactics, then the solution is this concept they have of the growth loop. And I want to get into this, but I want to look at it critically.
Sure.
Because usually when someone presents a 5-step system, it's just a repackaged checklist. How is this actually different from just, running a business?
The difference is the sequence.
Yeah.
The article argues that growth is a loop, and you literally cannot skip a step without breaking the entire machine. If you skip step 1 and jump straight to step 3, you don't just get slower growth, you get chaos.
Okay, let's test that theory then. Step 1 is clarity, which, again, it feels a little like consultant fluff. Have clarity. What does that actually mean in the real world?
It's maybe the most misunderstood word in business. Most people think clarity means we have a nice logo and a mission statement on the website.
Changing the world.
Right, changing the world. That is not clarity.
Then what is it?
Clarity is your positioning, your priorities, and your narrative. It answers the brutal questions, not just who are you, but who are you specifically for? And this is the real kicker. Why do you matter now?
That now part is interesting.
It's everything. Why you mattered in 2021 might not be why you matter in 2026. The market changes. Your customers' pain points change. If your narrative hasn't updated to reflect that, you don't have clarity. You have nostalgia.
Okay, so if I'm a leader, how do I know if I lack clarity? Because I have to assume most leaders think they're pretty clear.
Well, if you can't explain your value proposition without using a ton of industry jargon, you probably lack clarity. If your sales team is telling a different story than your website is,
you lack clarity.
You lack clarity. And here's why you can't skip this step. If your clarity is fuzzy, every single dollar you spend on marketing is at least 50% wasted. You're amplifying a muddled message.
You're shouting static.
Precisely. Which leads right into step 2.
Momentum.
Okay, now, everyone wants momentum. But the article makes a key distinction here between spikes and compounding. Yeah, and this is where that whole growth hack mentality really dies. A spike is a viral post. A spike is a big Super Bowl ad. It feels great.
The graph goes straight up.
It goes straight up. And then what happens?
Comes straight back down.
Right, because you bought attention, you didn't earn it. The source emphasizes that real momentum is earned through consistency. It's showing up with that clear message from step one over and over again.
It's the difference between going on a crash diet for a wedding versus just eating healthy for 5 years. One crashes, the other builds a completely different body.
That's a perfect analogy. And the problem is, in uncertain markets, leaders get desperate for the spike. They want that quick hit to save the quarter.
Of course.
But the article argues that this boring consistency is the only thing that actually builds a defensive moat around your business.
Okay, so let's say we have clarity. We know who we are. We're building momentum. We're putting the message out there consistently. This is usually where companies think they've won, right? Look at all the leads coming in.
And this is exactly where they crash. Step 3, operational alignment.
The unsexy part.
The incredibly unsexy, boring part that actually makes all the money. Operational alignment just means, can your business actually handle the promise your marketing just made?
This feels like the classic sales versus marketing war.
It is.
Marketing says, we sent you 500 leads, and sales says, yeah, and they were all terrible. Or operations says, we can't onboard these people fast enough.
Exactly.
Oh.
The source has this quote that just hits so hard. No amount of marketing fixes internal friction.
Wow.
If you have clarity and momentum, but your internal tools don't talk to each other, or your teams are fighting over attribution, you aren't growing. You're just creating a bottleneck.
It's worse than a bottleneck, though. It's churn. You're inviting people to a party and then locking the door when they arrive.
And that damages your brand way more than if you had just stayed small. This is why the order part is so crucial. You shouldn't be spending ad dollars to drive leads into a broken onboarding process.
So clarity drives momentum. Momentum stresses your operations, so you need alignment. Now we get to step 4, signal tracking.
Data.
But not just data,
Yeah.
because we are drowning in data. I have dashboards I haven't looked at in 6 months.
We all do. The article warns against vanity metrics and what it calls panic dashboards.
Panic dashboards sounds like my entire life.
It's when you stare at numbers that scare you but don't actually inform you. Or, on the flip side, looking at numbers that just stroke your ego.
Like total website hits.
Total hits, total likes, number of newsletter subscribers, those are vanity. They tell you people saw you. They don't tell you if people care.
So what's a signal then? Give me a concrete example.
A signal is something like time on page. A signal is repeat purchase rate. A signal is how many people opened the second email in your welcome sequence.
Ah,
These tell you if the system is actually working. If you're just tracking volume, you might just be tracking how effectively you're annoying people. You need to track the health of the relationship.
and this connects right back to clarity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can only track the right signals if you know what you're trying to achieve in the first place.
100%. And once you have the right signals, you can finally do step 5, adjustment.
Now, I want to pause here because adjustment sounds a lot like pivoting. And we just said that constant pivoting is bad.
Right.
So how is this different from the CEO who reads a book over the weekend and comes in on Monday wanting to change the entire strategy?
That's what the article calls strategy whiplash. That's adjusting based on anxiety or novelty. Adjustment in this context means iteration with intention.
Okay, give me an example of the difference.
Okay, strategy whiplash is our competitor just lowered their price, so we need to lower ours today. That's purely reactive.
Right, panic.
Intentional adjustment is, we looked at our signal tracking from step 4. We noticed that customers who engage with our onboarding video stay 40% longer. So we are going to adjust our resources to drive more people to that video.
Ah, I see. One is reacting to the market noise. The other is tuning your own engine based on your own data.
It's tuning, not swapping out the car.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to why this whole thing is so hard. It requires a mindset shift from doing more to doing better.
It requires being, well, boring.
It does. It requires saying no to the shiny new object because it doesn't fit the loop you're building.
There's a concept in the article called the amplifier effect that, I have to admit, it really scared me. It explains why this boring stuff is actually life or death in a recession.
Yes. The theory is that uncertain markets just amplify weaknesses.
So if you're disorganized in a boom market, you can basically get away with it.
Totally. In a boom market, money is cheap. Customers are buying. You can hide your inefficiencies. You can hide a bad culture, a messy CRM. But when the tide goes out,
You see who's swimming naked.
The inefficiencies that were just annoying in a boom market become absolutely fatal in a tight market. If your positioning is fuzzy in a tight market, you don't just get fewer leads, you get zero. If your operations are misaligned, the cost of that friction just destroys your thinner margins.
So the stakes are just exponentially higher.
Correct. But, and here's the optimistic flip side, the amplifier effect works both ways.
How so?
If you are the company that actually has clarity when everyone else is panicking, you stand out like a beacon. If your operations are smooth when everyone else is firing people and dropping balls, you steal their customers.
So order becomes a competitive advantage.
It is the ultimate competitive advantage in a downturn. While everyone else is running around trying to find a silver bullet, you are just executing your loop.
There are a few reframes in the article that I think are really healthy for leaders to hear. I want to throw them at you, and you can tell me why they matter.
Let's do it.
Okay, reframe number 1, marketing. The article says marketing isn't broken, your expectations are.
We blame marketing for everything. But if the product has no clarity or the operations are broken, marketing can't fix that. We expect marketing to be a miracle cure. It's not. It's a microphone. If the song is bad, a better microphone just makes the bad song louder.
Love that. Okay, reframe number 2, AI. We touched on this. AI isn't a strategy, it's an accelerant.
This is so crucial right now. Leaders are trying to do AI strategy, but AI just makes you faster. If you apply AI to a chaotic, disorganized business, you will just create chaos faster. You'll spam bad emails at a terrifying rate.
Right.
You need the system first. Then AI makes that system fly.
Speed doesn't matter if you're driving off a cliff.
Exactly.
Okay, last one, execution. It isn't a talent issue, it's a system issue.
We love to blame people. Oh, we just don't have the right A players. But usually you have really smart, capable people who are just stuck in a maze of bad processes and unclear goals. You don't need to fire your team, you need to fix the loop.
That puts the responsibility squarely back on leadership.
It absolutely does. Clarity is a leadership responsibility. You can't outsource your why to an agency. You have to own it.
So we've gone through the whole loop. Clarity, momentum, alignment, tracking, adjustment. It makes sense logically, but emotionally, it's got to be hard. It requires ignoring so much noise.
It requires choosing to be clear rather than loud.
Confusion is optional. That was my favorite line from the piece.
It's a powerful mantra, isn't it? The market will be confused. The economy will be confused. Your business doesn't have to be.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave the listener with something to actually do, because we've talked about a lot of concepts here. If I'm sitting at my desk feeling that overwhelm we talked about at the start, what is the first step?
I would offer a challenge, a thought experiment.
Let's hear it.
I want you to look at your calendar and your to-do list for this week, and I want you to mentally strip away all the noise.
And what counts as noise?
The new tools you're setting up, the urgent Slack messages about the latest trend, the panic meetings about low likes on a social media post. Strip all that activity away.
Okay, it's gone.
Now look at what's left. Do you still have a clear direction? Do you know exactly who you are serving and why you're serving them? Or was all that noise just masking the fact that you might be lost?
That is a terrifying question.
It is. But if the answer is, I don't know, then you have to stop doing the other stuff. Stop the tactics. Go back to step 1. Get clarity. Because until you answer that fundamental question, the rest is just burning cash.
Are you actually moving, or are you just creating drag?
That's the question to sit with.
Well, on that cheerful note, no, seriously, it's a necessary reality check. Big thanks to the team at Stella Pop for putting this framework together. It's a reminder that sometimes the boring way is the only way that actually works.
Especially when the world gets weird.
Exactly. Thanks for breaking it all down with us. And to you listening, good luck building your loop. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.